3, 2. Yo, what's happening, everybody? Jeff Emig here for, what are we on, episode 9 now? 9 times we've done Real Talk 447. I got my man Ricky Carmichael coming to us live from Florida. Well, it's not live if you're listening to it, but as we are recording, this is actually happening live. Dude, you were late. What's the deal? You're out at the goat farm today?
Yeah.
Working with some guys?
I was working with TJ Albright. He asked me to come out and help him with some starts. He feels like his starts haven't been up to par lately. So he asked if I would come out there. I'm like, yeah, dude, for sure. I said, I can't stay long, though, because I got to get back from my Real Talk 447 podcast recording with my man, Jeff Emig, yourself.
Well, I'm wondering why he called you and not me. Well, because he knows I'm in California.
Well, I ripped you off on the starting technique. I've been to all the RCUs. I've went and I've listened to you. You got a great technique and great system for starts, and basically I just copied what you do.
Man, it's not rocket science, right? You do have to have reaction time and concentration and all that, but it's just about being locked into the bike. And you see guys when they go, oh, man, I don't know what happened. And you watch the video of them, and their legs out, they're this, they're that,
So I think the biggest thing, too, and I see this at a professional level, is the more they practice the starts, too, then they really start thinking about it. So I told him, I'm like, dude, just do a few. I think we did 6, I don't know, maybe 10 max. And he had a good position, good clutch action, the RPMs were right, over the gate, out of the gate, the whole bit, like really made some progress, and he felt comfortable about it. So at that point, I just said, just stop doing it, because you really do, I believe, at least it was for me, the more that I did, the more I thought about it. I feel
train yourself out of it.
You start thinking, you think long, you think wrong type situation. Yeah. So I never practiced starts, hardly ever. Because I felt like when I did, then I would get to the races and I'd be, thinking about it. Where I think for starts, you got to be confident in your technique, roll up there, and it should just be second nature. So that's the goal, rather.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it with testing the bike and clutches and things like that. But hey, back in the days when I first started really getting into golf, and I was trying to be a better golfer, I read like some books on like Ben Hogan and Snead and some of these guys, and I forget, I think it was Hogan, when he was young, his dad would take him to the range, and if I remember correctly, and keep in mind, like half of the shit or more of what I say isn't even true, like my memory
Probably
is not even
more.
but let's don't let the facts get in the way of a good story here. He would go to the driving range, and he would only get like 5 balls or 10 balls or something, right? It's not like he had buckets of balls and he was just like whacking them. It was like his dad was like, here you go, make it count. That's kind of a similar theory. Like if you only have 5, let's say you're going to the driving range for the day and you got 5 balls, you're not going to take one practice swing and go up there. Like you're going to, anyway.
Yeah, you're going to think about it. You're going to just make sure that every ball counts and try to execute every ball perfectly rather than just get up there swinging and not thinking about it. Wow,
hey,
that's interesting.
Who would you say is the most dedicated rider at the goat farm? You guys got about what, 8 permanents?
Yeah. You know what?
Who impresses you the most with their and we're talking some like top amateurs on to, Joey Savacci.
You know what? We got a good group of eggs out there. They're all positive for the most part. Now, it hasn't heated up out here yet. Pretty soon, in about a month or now, it'll be about 90. Hotter than hell. Gnats all over your face. That's when everyone's true colors start coming out. So right now, everyone is pretty positive at the moment. So I can't really think of anybody right now that's negative.
Hey, you had the when we were there a month ago doing the event, and then you posted an Instagram this week with your 3am kids.
Yeah.
Kids, young men, sorry. Those three. So, why can't I think of his name? The kid on the KTM was riding like a 125, 44. Come on, help me out here. When we were doing the school that day, dude, this kid was laying his bike down like Hammaker was too. In that one berm I was working with these kids, I mean, they were literally dragging the bars and the clutch levers, and the one kid could just go through. I mean, he just absolutely railed the turn. Damn it, what's his name?
It's Patrick Murphy's who you're thinking of. I mean, I thought you were talking about Dylan Greer, and I'm like, wait a minute.
No. Murph. No, it's Patrick Murphy. Berm buster, though, huh? Berm buster.
He, bless his heart. He's on that 2-stroke, trying to keep up with the guys on the 4-stroke, and it just, I mean, if he sees a nice cush, he just lays that puppy
He doesn't care what next lap looks like.
No, he don't care about getting a good lap time the next lap. He's all for the moment, but he's working on it. He's improved. I was out there yesterday, and where they take their time, start and stop their times, there was one berm, and he basically made one berm, 2 berms, 2 apexes. I'm like, dude, you got to slow down through that corner. I know it's inviting, and I know you just want to lay it in there, but he hit it so hard at the beginning that the bike stood up, and then he got going again, and he hit like I said, made it a double apex, hit the berm hard again, and the bike stood up. I'm like, if you would have just slowed down and made that corner as one, boom, you would have met your time.
Well, that's part of it, right? Yeah, I really love the lap or the timing the section aspect of what we do, and that's I feel like that's something that you and your mom had developed throughout your career, was working on those sections. So, yeah. Hey, speaking of hard hits,
sorry about that.
Speaking of hitting turns hard. We had round 14 of Monster Energy Supercross in Nashville last week. My prediction when I looked at the weather was that it was going to rain. It didn't rain for the race.
Your phone always says rain, bro.
It didn't rain until after the race when y'all were down on Broadway having a few beers. But tell me, what was it like having Supercross in Nashville there for that first time?
Well, I mean, National is an awesome city, as you know. We had a great time. You were supposed to come. You didn't come. You ended up staying home.
Well, I
was kind of bummed about that.
Dude.
But no,
Jagger duties.
It was. Yeah, I'm glad he's feeling better. That was a bad situation. He wasn't feeling well.
I had a sick kid last week. I was watching Supercross there on NBC, and I got a kid next to me with 102 temperature. Had been throwing up all day, so we were in 2 drastically different places.
It was great. The vibe was awesome, Jeff. The weather was good, so that helped.
Yeah.
People walking around. I mean, you know how it is on Broadway, that whole downtown scene, and the stadium was just right across the river.
Were there any bachelorette parties on Broadway?
Did you know 3 people told me that is the capital city for bachelorette parties?
Hey, I've been to Austin, and Austin was a very similar place.
Was it?
So we got to go to Austin, dude. It was fun.
I've been to Austin one time. I went there for the Angel Arena Cross Series.
You haven't been with me.
No, I haven't.
Speaking of, I know we should talk about this.
Your weather app was wrong again, dude. Just like when you came to Destin, you were all bummed before you even got there that it was going to rain all week. Did the rain ever shut us down?
No, the rain came at the right time of day where we didn't really give a shit if it was raining or not. And that's what I was going to ask you. I know this is for off the podcast, but hey, we need to get a summer trip to Destin going. We need to get it on the schedule because I got trips to Europe and stuff for Fox and that.
I've been thinking about selling my boat and getting something different. So if anybody is inquiring about buying my boat, it could be yours.
That is what is that thing about a 22 footer?
I wish. That's what I'd like to downsize to.
Yeah, you downsize everything. Dude, that boat's epic. That was so much fun. That was good, man.
That
was good. Well, I'm gonna be there. I'm just gonna show up one day. If I hear that you're going down, I'm just gonna get a ticket and be like,
yeah. It's easy too. I mean, American Airlines flies right in there. It's a quick, skip, jump, and a hop.
Yeah, just a quick 6 hours worth of flying to get there.
Well, with the luck that you have flying there, dude, this guy's, as much as he travels, he goes through Dallas pretty much every time that he travels, and you get hung up there more than anyone I know.
Yeah, I've had a few delays here and there, but I got some trips to Europe. I'm going to do a couple of events there. The Fox 74 show, France, Germany. Was just talking to Hoover a little bit on my way down. He said to say what up, by the way, and he wants you to come over. But I know you don't like taking any trips to Europe. So.
No, I do. I love going over there now that I don't race. It's fantastic.
A lot better when you don't have to. All right, hey, so... Man, you want to start with the 250s or 450s? What are you thinking?
Let's do 250s first.
250s was they were interesting. So first off, you had Faulkner. Anybody in the world that pays attention to Supercross has seen that highlight of him looping out and then going over the bars through the whoops. You got like the loop going and then then the throw. I mean, but he was all right from that one. He was a little shaken.
I think that's what did the damage. I think when he's looping out through the whoops and then he plants that left foot on the last whoop.
Oh.
I think that's what did it.
And then he tried to, and then he ride the next practice.
He never, and then he went to go out for the next practice and just jumping through that rhythm section. He didn't even do anything wrong. Oh. And something happened. I'm guessing his knee popped out. I don't know for sure. That's the only thing I can think of. And then he just pulled right off. And you as a rider, Jeff, you know, when you get off the bike, first thing you do is hit the ground and you're beating your hand against the ground, you know something is horribly wrong. He's squirming around, can't get comfortable, can't get any relief. You know it's bad at that point. So I know he's said he was going to have some MRIs done yesterday, an MRI done yesterday. I haven't heard it. I'm sure there'll be some kind of announcement or update, hopefully. But I can guarantee you if he can grit it out, he would probably show up to East Rutherford. So his competition should probably anticipate that, or at least I would. If you don't have to have anything surgically done, you at least got to give it a go. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw on Instagram that he put out he was on the table at Doc G's down here in Orange County. So he does a pretty good job of getting these guys back up and going. He's got another weekend off, or 2 weekends off, excuse me. So if you're going to get injured, this would be the time to do it, right?
Well, it's just a shame because, and I want to talk about something real quick. So Austin Faulkner has a really good stature as far as his height, his build as a person. I feel like if you had to genetically make a human to ride a dirt bike, he would be very close to just about perfect. So this segues into what I want to talk about. You know, we all have been thinking, when are these qualifying practices going to catch up with him? He can't keep hitting the deck. And
what's the percentage? And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about it. I go, I think that he's slid out, fallen down, or crashed in every timed qualifying. I don't know about the untimed.
Yeah, not every practice, but every.
But, I mean,
weekend,
give me a percentage.
Crashed. Yeah.
So at least 100% for every race. But I was saying I think he's gone down in every session. No.
No. Right. I don't think he has, but it's very high. Nonetheless, you know, at the beginning, you know, and a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, it's going to catch up with him. Well, I remember in 2001 and actually early in my years in 1997, you know, people are thinking, oh, he'll crash. But eventually these damn kids figure it out. I was able to figure it out. And so I was kind of thinking, you know what, dude, I don't think that it's ever going to catch up with him. I've been down this road before. And if his competitors are going to wait for him for his luck to run out, they're going to be waiting a long time. Well, unfortunately, it caught up with him. But going back to his stature, he's built to crash. Like the way that he tuck and rolls. Not a lot of guys tuck and roll when they fall down. They hit a little bit square, and you know, they just don't brace for impact as well as other guys do. And I personally think a lot of that is because of his build. What do you think? Come on,
well,
dude. This is
I definitely. I mean, but this is where. I mean, okay, so back in the 70s, when you needed to be taller and stronger and all this to ride these bikes, Some of the bigger guys really excelled, but then as the bikes, the bikes got better and whatnot. I mean, you certainly didn't have these long legs that you talk about. I mean, Wilson definitely, when I talked to him last week, he says, yes, I definitely feel like I have an advantage in the whoops. And maybe a little bit. I mean, we're talking a bike link every lap, which can add up to quite a lot. But, you didn't have that advantage. So then you have to make up for it, right? Austin certainly, I've always thought, and even from his last couple of years as an amateur, man, this is like the perfect specimen of a motocross, supercross racer. The thing that you can't see from the outside is what's up here, which I think, what's up here or even what's inside. And, I was pretty outspoken about the fact that I'm like, his first 2 years as a pro, it's like, what the hell's going on? So then he finds his groove and
racing groove.
Yeah. His racing groove, and things are starting to come together for him. I mean, I felt like watching him at Daytona, I felt like I was watching greatness, like really pretty damn exceptional. But I almost feel like he's been on that sort of fast but loose side where he's right on the edge, where there's not a lot of room for a mistake, and here we go. So we've seen this happen, or we saw it happen last weekend. So
yeah, it's a shame. I think the biggest thing is, like, I'm assuming that his on the bike coach Robbie Raynard is telling him, hey, you can back it off a little bit, and you don't need to go that fast. I'm sure, and so when your riding coach is telling you that, you really got to listen. And it just, we've seen the same thing happen every single weekend. And he's found his race groove, but he needed to improve. It would have been cool to see him not do that every single weekend. And unfortunately, it bit him.
Yeah. And, I've noticed a little mistake here, Supercross Research Department on the round 15 book. He forgot to add in Davalos with a win. But you come to expect that from the research department. It's getting late in the season. He's losing his edge maybe. So, but what has happened now is after 5 wins, Forkner has the DNS. Still got the points lead, of course, but he's only 3 ahead of Sexton and 7 ahead of Cooper. And with Forkner out, I know we talked earlier this morning, you wanted to talk about Sexton and Cooper and what went down with those two guys on the first lap.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to hear your analysis of it. I really respect your analysis and how you look at things. And I think that you and I want to hear what you have to say about it and see if we're on the same page. So you tell me what you think.
Yeah. So, if you only watched the clip of the corner where Cooper gets into Sexton and goes down, if you only watched that, then you'd go, oh, wow, that was kind of dirty or whatever. If you just kind of isolated it and you didn't know points, you didn't know anything else. But if you back that up to probably, the second turn, Sexton he came in on Cooper, showed him a wheel. They go through the rhythm section.
Did they make contact?
The first time, the first left. I don't feel like it. Then you go through the rhythm section. Sexton comes in, shows him a wheel again, and I believe he kind of tapped Cooper, or Cooper jumped out of the berm going down the start straight backwards. Sexton gets the drive, comes in and takes the lead. The first lap, boom. The door's wide open. Who's gonna be the first to walk through it? You go through one more rhythm section, and Cooper says, "Hey, I'm gonna lay this dude out."
Yeah.
So, I mean.
So
wait,
was anyone
Cooper
wrong
went down
right?
too. Cooper went down too, right? They both went down.
Yeah, they both went down. Yeah.
So, like I've always said, if you both go down, you went too deep. No problem. Watch it again. Cooper, he was late to the hit. He had to make a pretty strong left to even get to Sexton. It's the first lap of the race. You went too deep. If you both go down, you went too deep. Now what happens? So Cooper could have won that race. Now they leave the door open for Davalos to win, right? So,
or if Faulkner is good enough to race, now they've made it harder to win the championship.
Yeah.
Because they lost valuable points. And so go ahead and finish your thought. Tell me.
So that's just, that's what you're going to have in the 250 classes. You're going to have that type of immaturity. They don't have the experience, the knowledge. There's a lot going on. These kids are like, oh, Faulkner's out. Okay, we got to win this. Well, they're trying to win it on the first lap. Even Sexton, he needed to just settle in. They could have settled in. They would have wheelied away from the pack. But
so if you were racing me or a McGrath,
if it was the 125 class, I probably would have done the same shit. Because, I mean, you can go back and watch 1990, 91. Yeah, that's just age. That's just immaturity. That's just not having the experience or the confidence in themselves that, hey, I can be cool. I know I got this guy in 15 minutes. I'll be cool. It's like they wanted to make it happen right then. And so, in turn, they
gave up
essentially
three points.
Yeah, to the 32-year-old Martin Davalos. So,
so my deal is, well, first of all, Chase Sexton on the left-hander, would have been a second turn. He didn't make any contact. He showed him a wheel.
Yeah,
he didn't. From the angle that I saw, and I could be wrong, people probably hate on me for this or say, you got to look at the video. It was hard to see if he made contact on that right-hander, but in my opinion, as Cooper started to come out of the corner, he flinched a little bit and went off the track. I don't think that Sexton would put himself in that position that early, but I do think he wanted to get by Justin. He wants that win that he's been so close to or trying to get for so long, just like Justin Cooper has. And then Cooper just used him up too much. They both were caught up in the moment. I'm with you. They probably should have taken a step back. But they both got caught up in the moment, and they didn't maximize their opportunity of Austin Faulkner not being out there.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest loss, and I think that is the biggest thing that, well, first and foremost, I think that Justin Cooper will learn. I really like Justin Cooper. I'm a fan of him. I watched him come up through the Amsoil Arena Cross Series. He was kind of a hidden talent, and he's done well. He let the emotions get the best of him. He didn't have to use Sexton up so much in that left-hander, and essentially took them both out. Yeah. And like I said, and you say, if you're going to take someone out, you never take each other out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
you both go down, you went too deep. All right.
All
right. So we're 20 minutes into this thing. Jeez. So Tomac gets another win, rides like he knows how to ride, wins number 25. Number 25, dude. Think about that.
Dude. That's a lot of wins, man.
Yeah.
A lot. So he's 9th all time. Hannah is 8th. Bob Hannah is 8th all time at 27.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah. Oh, I had it pulled up here.
Dude, I memorized this shit. I don't even need to look.
Oh, yeah, right.
Huh? I check my facts, bro.
Huh? Yeah, you're
brought to you by the SX Research Department.
Oh my God, what's the weekly guide? So the note was Tomac's win last week was his 25th, 9th most all time, just 2 behind Hannah with 27 wins for 8th in the history. All the riders with 20 or more wins, he's the only one who hasn't won a championship. In fact, every other rider with 20 or more wins has multiple championships. I stated that a few weeks back. So far, Eli stuck at 0 in that category. So he's tied for second points, though.
Simple, Matt, dude. Simple stuff. Yeah, let's not waste any time on this. He rode well. He did what he knows how to do. Why doesn't he do that every weekend? Who the hell knows? That's for him to figure out, and it's definitely puzzling to me, Jeff. I know it's puzzling to you, but only he knows why he is not. Could he go on a run? Absolutely, he could. Blake Baggett, another great podium. He rode well. He got stuck behind Cooper. Cooper was keeping him honest and keeping him behind him, not going out of his way to do it. But they both were similar.
He's going for the championship, so he's battling for every point. I ain't got no problem with it. Was he supposed to let him by?
Webb actually, I mean, sucked in practice. The whoops have actually absolutely been killing him. I wish you could see him in time qualifying practice, Jeff, because he was just, I mean, he was over a second off. I think it was 1.3 seconds, 1.4 seconds off of the fastest time, which was set by Kenny Roczen. So, you know, I understand. Yeah, he's in protection mode, in my opinion, Cooper Webb is. But, man, he had a lot of
still got to have one more good race, though. I think he's still got to have one more good race. The good thing is that if he does get beat, it's not by Newscan and Tomac. It's like one or the other. And still finding a way to battle his way, you know, to a podium. But
he did what he –
You know how – so Webb was third. Wilson had a great fourth. He's been –
Do you want to say something about Wilson?
What do you mean? Oh. So he called me out. So last week's show when we were talking about Wilson being a fill-in rider.
Did he listen to our show?
Yeah, he's coming on the show. I'm doing a special episode with Dean Wilson from Faye Myers Power Sports in Denver this Friday night. So we're going to have him on, special guest, and you're going to make it down. Once you get done doing TV, you're coming down. And
you're going to buy my dinner? You're going to buy my dinner afterwards?
Yeah, I'll buy your dinner. Why not? No, we'll get Fox to do it. Let's get Fox to do it. I'll get Fox to do it, and that counts as me buying.
Okay, perfect.
See how that's an advanced technique.
Yeah.
That's straight out of the Ralph Shaheen playbook right there.
Oh, dude, does that guy fumble his wallet more than anyone you've ever seen?
No. Hey, but he is up for the company paying for dinner. I will. He is no stranger to. We love you, Ralphie. Okay, so last week's show, we talked about Wilson, and I made the comment about him being a fill-in rider for the last few years, and he texts me, he's like, dude, I wasn't a fill-in rider last year. You're like, he earned the ride. So my apologies, Dean.
I think his results have warranted himself to get another ride next year. 100%.
Everything about what he does warrants himself, right? But the last 5 races, he's gone 11, 9, 6, 3, 4. Trending in the right direction. Rockstar Energy, Husqvarna Factory Racing has to be stoked with that. So he got a 4th. Muscan was all over the place last week.
Muscan was in a perfect position to beat Webb. I mean, he was going to beat him for sure. And, dude, Jeff, you got to be on. He slipped up. Mm-hmm. He made a costly mistake.
You can't do that. So Webb goes off the track in the whoops where he's struggling, rolls over some tough blocks. There might be a little skill of riding a motorcycle involved, but dude, what's the percentage skill versus luck that when you roll through tough blocks, come into oncoming traffic? There could have been
going backwards
on the track, jump back on the track, didn't even lose a spot, did he?
No.
Because Baggett had already passed him.
Knows?
Yeah, so my point is that skill and the better you are, better trained, blah, 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 you make yourself lucky, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes there is just pure luck. So he doesn't go down on that. Same section of the track, Roxon's having a kick-ass day, fast as shit. Joey falls in front of him. Roxon's got nowhere to go, goes and flies over the tough blocks like, what was his result?
On the backside of that big-ass tall berm.
Yeah, and ends up with a 10th. Like, when it's your year, things just go your way.
Well, you've always talked about...
Guy crashes in front of you. He crashes away from you rather than into you. There is no way that you can tell me that stuff doesn't play a part in the outcome of this,
Oh, 100%. Where Indy? Remember when we had Debo on and he jumped on that tough block and then made the pass.
Yeah.
You've talked about this. I've heard you say before. When it's your year and everything is going right, you could go through the first corner, mid-pack, come out unscathed, nothing wrong. Yeah. But when it is not your year and shit is just happening, you go through that first corner in third place and some dude will clean you out.
Well, that's what's happened to Rox in the last couple of weeks. It was 2 weeks ago that he stepped off in the first. Yeah. So
I was bummed for Kenny. I mean, dude, he was going to win. I mean, that guy was so fast.
Huh.
He is so fast, so it's disappointing. But I think he's going to bag one before the end of the season. Looks like he's having fun and he's vibing. Obviously, he probably wasn't having fun with the shitty luck that he had, but the speed is there. So
I think
the winning speed is there.
I mean, I don't know what the soil's going to be like at
I don't either.
Broncos Stadium at Mile High this weekend. I think it's supposed to rain.
You want to give us the weather report?
Dude, it's
at your shitty weather app you got.
Denver. It's just Apple.
Does it say rain?
No, actually, it looks good. It looks good. You're good. You're good.
Oh,
you should be nice and dry in the broadcast booth.
It's opposite of everything your app says. So
yeah. So,
okay,
but I feel like but I feel like as different as MetLife Stadium in New Jersey is from Vegas, I still feel like all three of these conditions are really good for Tomac. If the head is screwed on straight, he could go on a run. So if he wins the next three, that puts him a minimum of 9 points that he could gain. If Webb slips up a little bit, he could win it. So we've got a live poll happening right now. It's going to be over just before the end of the show. We got a live poll on Talk 447 on Twitter. So we're going to see what the fans think right now. But it did rain for Supercross Futures the next day.
Yeah, that was a bummer. The track's so good too. Like it just the balance that they had for the jumps that the riders could do, but yet still be safe. It was a really good balance, and it was a shame that it rained for those guys.
So real quick, how's that been? I know you've been at all of those events this year.
Well, I haven't been to all of them. Been to 3 so far. I'm going to do 4. The next one I will be in Vegas, and I really enjoy doing it. I think it's great what Feld is doing. I think it provides a great opportunity for everyone, not just the Supercross Futures. If you're someone our age, Jeff, that want to go ride that can't do this kind of stuff, it's a great opportunity. So
hey, Bryles was signed up to ride Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, and then I think he said he's not going to do it. I think he's going to Florida or something now, but he's a buddy of ours, 65-year-old dude, still rides like more than anyone I know. Right, still hanging on. He acts like he's about 30. So, yeah. All right. So moving on, we're about halfway through, dude. We're gonna have to crush the rest of this silly season. What do you know about who's going where? What do you think? What's the biggest ride up for grabs?
You got, I think the kingpin is Adam Cianciarulo. That's the kingpin. Where is he going to end up? Is he going to end up at Factory Honda? Is he going to go to Factory Cowie? That's the biggest thing. I personally think he'll end up at Honda. I think that it's no secret that Ken really enjoys being around AC, and they practice together when AC is at home. I feel like they get along really well. They were training partners with Peter Park a couple years ago, and I think from Honda's standpoint, it would be a hell of a catch. They would strengthen their opportunity to have a great shot at championships next year in the 450 level, and that's I think it would be great for Adam Cianciarulo to go to a different brand also. I think he needs that change where he's at. I think it would be rejuvenating for him. He's doing fantastic, but I even think going there next year would be
He's been with Cowie since 65s maybe? Since maybe on 65s, right?
Yeah, since he left, Cobra
or whatever he was riding. Yeah.
So there's some talk about him going to Honda. I personally think that's where he's going to end up. I don't know. And I purposefully don't ask any of those guys because ain't none of them going to tell you.
Dude,
They're going to lie right to you.
Now that you're walking around with NBC on your jacket full time. Well, it was the big thing is when you became a team owner, all of a sudden you got clipped a little bit.
Oh, dude, when I became team owner, then Roger wouldn't talk to me. Like, I had to tell DeCoster one time, like, dude, it's just me, man. He's the guy that we won a lot of championships together. I have a tremendous amount of respect for you. I'm your boy, dude. It's okay. I'm not, We're not riding the motorcycles. He's a competitive son of a gun, dude. Yeah. Raj is.
Oh, he's been around for. I mean, he won world championships in the '60s, I think, right? Or early '70s at latest.
So that's what I think is going to happen. If that happens, I think that Savatgy will stay at Cowie. I most certainly think that he has earned another opportunity there. He's shown some good speed. As far as Cole Seeley, that would leave him out if AC goes to Honda. He could end up somewhere like JGR, something like that. What's Chad Reed going to do? What's Hill going to do? But AC is the kingpin, and until he signs, that's after he signs, I think that's when everyone will start getting put elsewhere. What do you think?
All right, no, I don't know enough about it, dude. I'm not at the events right now, so
yeah.
What does it say? Ear to the grindstone? Is that what they?
You live.
Is that the term?
You live in the Mecca. But what if you're Adam Cianciarulo? Where would you go? Let's hear it, dude.
It's about this. The green.
Well, for the guys that are listening and not watching this,
electronic funds transfers. I don't think
strictly with the money.
I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those. But I mean, is it better to be riding and training with somebody like that's your buddy, like Roxon, or I don't know how he gets on with Tomac. A lot of that, like team chemistry and all that, has a lot to do with it. And there's a pecking order, and that's what we've experienced, which has been so unique this year with KTM, is that pecking order got disrupted, and there's been a lot of friction, and consequently Newscan and Webb have both really elevated their
I don't know. I can't remember who I heard it from, but the locker talk this week was maybe Honda was showing some interest in Newscan, but I think Newscan will stay at KTM. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, they would have to open the checkbook.
You got to think, though, like, here's the thing. Like, if Newscan leaves KTM, think about what that changes. He doesn't ride at the Baker factory anymore.
Why not?
He does, because that they're exclusive. He's exclusive.
Eldon Baker's exclusive with KTM and Husky.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that change. I mean, there is a lot of life-changing things going on there. He can still ride in the Claremont area at the Sandbox, but
who owns
just
the Sandbox?
that would be a lot of change.
Who owns the Sandbox?
Jason Baker, right? From Gene Shacks. I think he does. Which he's a great guy, by the way. Mm-hmm. Cool as shit. Does a great job too.
All right. Well,
okay.
Stay tuned for that.
Well, the reason Jeff wants to get to the next subject is because he wants to pat himself on the back. So go ahead.
I just want to settle the score. So we've got the Supercross Research Department never sleeps, and the whole team there had been working on some head-to-head statistics between different riders, different champions. The team has gone back through and done a lot of the top champions over the last, all of the champions, I think, going back to McGrath, and like head-to-head against other champions. And they are also working on stats for this season. So as we get closer to Vegas, we'll have some head-to-head, like who's beat who more, things like that, which is pretty easy to figure out one season, like the current season. But
Go ahead.
Here we go.
Yeah.
You like that? Arne loves it. He's laughing his ass off back here.
Go ahead.
So in our career, in the only time that we raced against each other ever was 1999 in Supercross.
In a series.
Yeah. Well, did we ever race like Bear Sea or anything like that together?
No.
I don't think so either. So 1999, we're both Factory Cowie. We beat that story to death.
Almost same. This is the year we're talking about.
So we start off
Anaheim.
Yeah. So is the number in the left? Is that how many events we made? So there were 16 events. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I missed 6 of them. I don't know if did I count that right?
Did you hurt yourself at Daytona or Houston?
No. So it starts off. So I was 8th in the first one. You were 6th. Yeah, and so then we both missed Houston. Well, I was racing Houston, and I crashed with 1 turn to go in practice, looped out, and jumped off the back of the bike and bruised my heels, and I was done. I was done for the season.
Until Vegas, and you just
and
show up.
And then come back, yeah. So
probably faded, and still got 3rd.
Ricky missed 4 events. I missed 6. And so the head-to-head where we actually raced against each other is 7 times. 7 times that season we matched up. And of those 7 times, I beat you 4 of the 7. So you beat me 3 of the 4. So I forget what the percentage is, but I got you, dude.
Yeah, you do. Oh, and
so for those
he doesn't
listening,
have the U.S. Open in there.
No, hold on. So to put it into real perspective is that the first race, I was 8th and you were 6th. We were crushed it, huh? That was great. 2 factory riders. The next race, I was 16th and you were 19th.
McGrath got 7th.
Yeah.
Well, the next weekend, and you got
Dallas.
I
got a 14th, and you got a 19th.
I finished 3 positions behind you. I got 19th. You got 16th at San Diego. I fell on the 2nd lap, and that's when I put my foot peg through my pelvic bone.
Hey, the result is the result.
I know.
I don't care if you got a foot peg or not,
dude. Look. The funny thing is we're going to go to Houston. It's round 10, the one where you fell in practice. Well, do you remember we both were at Houston and we both never even –
we didn't make the main.
That stupid step up like the 2nd lap in practice, and you probably came around.
There was wasn't there like a dragon's back thing that you had to like jump off?
Yeah, well, I tried to jump over the whole thing and clipped the top and went over and thought I broke my femur.
So Bruce Sternstrom was pumped on that, and then – the next practice, literally like jump a little triple thing, make a right and finish line for the last lap of the last practice. And I remember because that was going to be a CBS race, like a next day air, which was, we didn't have any real broadcast races then. So there were like 3 races a year were on CBS, broadcast Sunday event. And Scott McLemore, my old buddy, had built a whole feature on me that he was going to run in the race the next day. Well, I crash, don't race, feature pulled, done deal. So I was bummed. I was bummed about that. So then I come back, and the last time that we raced against each other that year was Vegas. That's the one where I get the podium, and you crashed in the whoops, and Albertine drills you in the helmet, you in the head. So thank you very much, because that certainly would have been your podium had you not crashed. So I appreciate that. So
that's what I do for my friends, mate.
Emig 4, Carmichael 3. But that's not where it ends. We go fast forward about, 4 or 5 months, U.S. Open of Supercross, boom. So the final score, Emig 5, Carmichael 3. Can we put that to bed once and for all?
It's
not even close.
We put it to bed right here.
It's almost 50. That's 40%, right?
We put it to bed right here, Real Talk, episode 9. Dude.
Full Devi, huh?
Oh, dude.
Can you believe that? That was 1999, dude. I was a mess. And I still whooped your ass.
Oh, I mean,
5 out of 8 times.
I was too.
All right. Well, that's fun. Thanks to Supercross Research Department.
I'm glad you got that. I'm glad you feel good about yourself.
I do. I'm just going to be
table for all of our
skipping.
listeners.
Once I leave here, I'm just going to be like music on.
Vibing.
I'm free falling. Just windows
one thing
open.
You can't do is sing.
Well, I didn't warm up properly. Maybe that was the deal.
You didn't preparate?
No, my preparation was off. Hey, so like I said, research department's going to have some more head-to-head stats on that in the coming weeks. So, you ready to get to some listener questions?
Yeah, man.
Let me see how we doing on time. Oh, we got to get through this.
Yeah, we'll do it quick. You want me to do the first one?
Yeah, go for it. Well, no. Let me do the first one. You don't know Leroy Brown, do you?
No.
So, yeah. So, SLC Leroy Brown, he's our buddy up at Snowbird in Utah.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah. So, massive fan of the sport. So he says, I love how professional Supercross riders have become. They're well-spoken, humble, participate in charities, aggressively involve themselves in social media, have strict fitness and diet routines, etc. They are up there with pro soccer and NBA players. Do you guys believe that there could be a bad boy competitor again? A beloved villain on the track? Would the sponsors allow that to happen, and would the fans allow that too?
That's a great question, Leroy.
Yeah. Yep.
A villain.
Would they allow, I mean, you'd think somebody like Monster Energy with their vibe and what they do, that they would want.
Oh, they would love a villain.
They would. And Red Bull is a little more clean cut. Rockstar certainly would be all about it, right? And then, but as far as teams go, it's like, you better bring some serious swagger, like James Hunt style. If you're you got to win races. If you win races, you can write your own script. The second you don't win,
you're dust in the wind. You're right. I think that as long as you can back it up, I think there could be villain-esque, if you will. I don't know about full villain these days. What I do think is you'll have fun personalities compared to other guys. You'll see guys like Dean Wilson. You'll see guys like what we're seeing right now with Austin Faulkner. You know, he was having a little fun on his butt patch this weekend.
James Hunt,
Sex, Breakfast of Champions. So that's about, in my opinion, that's about as villain as you're going to get these days. I feel like maybe that time has passed us by, and the factory teams, once you get under their umbrella, you know, you have to uphold an image, and
well, you certainly are ensuring your bet if you keep young riders on a shorter leash. I lived it myself. So that takes us into our next question. RM368 on Instagram. He says, guys like Izzy, Stroop, J-Law, etc., do you think being as young as they were at the time they started making money could be the cause of them falling into addiction? Do teams give these guys financial advisors or mentors to help them stay on track after turning pro and getting paid at such a young age? Or do they just say, here's your salary and spend it wisely? No, they do not offer you financial advisors. Yes, they do offer you mentors. Guys like myself, Stroop, J-Law, Izzy, I don't want to hear it. I want to do my thing, and that's it. And so to try to influence a kid that's got his mindset on doing what he wants to do, I think is really tough. And I feel like that as motorcyclists, we're kind of rebels at heart. And certainly with Izzy, Stroop, J-Law, you know, and there's a lot of other riders you could throw into that mix. I mean, our guy Debo 360, you know, we just made the choices to live our lives a certain way. I don't think that these days, let's see, Izzy, Stroop, J-Law, none of those three riders won the 250 Supercross Championship. Denny Stevenson did.
Hold up. J-Law did?
Oh, he did. Shit. Sorry. That's right. Yeah, he did. He did. So he won the...
You remember who he beat?
Yeah, Dungy. Yep. But then after that, it was over.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that, what they were doing, you can't do that at the top level. It's too hard. And as far as addiction goes, that's
just next level. I don't think it has to do with. I think that if you're going to go down that path, you're going to go down that path, and you'll it doesn't have to do with the money.
No, I mean,
fortunately not.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's interesting because Jason Lawrence, his agent at the time was my good friend Scott Sepkovic. And I was kind of tooling around doing bits and bobs here and there. And Scott's like, hey, I want you to mentor and to train Jason Lawrence, right? Well, I had spent some time with you, and I had seen the type of program that you were on and what you were putting together. I knew that Jason Lawrence was never going to fit into that mold. But I said, okay, here's some of the things that we need to do, right? So I really tried to reach out to him, and I knew that it was going to take a month or 2 or 3 for him to actually trust me, right? I tried to reach out to him on a real emotional level. Like, okay, man, I'm just like you. I was just like you, but I'm telling you that you can't, it's not the 90s anymore. You can't run my program or Budman or Denny or what any of us were doing then. Even Jeremy McGrath, Button, Rhino, all of us. Okay, you want it to be that, but it's not the same game. So you have to, I'm not asking you to train like Ricky Carmichael, but here's some of the things that I think we can do together. And I felt like, like I said, it's going to take a little bit for us to get this together. I went out to like one session with him. There was another race the next weekend. The dude stopped calling me. You've hired me to train you. You won't even call me back. It lasted 8 days. That was when he was on Rockstar Suzuki.
Did he just think you were full of shit or what?
I'm like, dude, so what I learned by then is that cycling is the preferred cardio. Like, we got to cycle, right? And I was cycling a lot at the time just for health, having fun with it. I'm not asking him to, completely change his program, but here's what we're going to do, right? And, it's a different game. Like back in the 90s, we all went out after the races, had some beers, had some fun. The guys I was racing against were doing the same stuff. Like in that season, Villapoto was like on a spinner at the hotel on Sunday morning, flushing his body, flushing his toxins and lactic acids and everything before he got on the flight, And J-Law wanted to be hungover, and I'm like, well, this isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna get it done. It's a different thing. Certainly I'm not the guy that's gonna be the super strict, this and that. But I do think that I can help guide you in that direction. Dude, it lasted 8 days. Yeah, I'm like, Scott, if he won't call me back, I can't train him. And that's as long as it lasted. I'm not even sure I charged him. Right? And so as far as the mentor thing, I definitely feel like that there's guys out there that I could connect with, because I feel like that I did it wrong and I did it right. I feel like from my perspective, and I know you would probably be more critical of yourself, but there were a lot of things that you just did right. Yeah. That makes sense? So anyway, yeah. I would rather have your results. So moving on. Here, you take the next one.
Yeah, so this is a question from Twitter, and it is at J. Selamere. I believe that's right. He has 2 questions. This person has 2 questions. Do you think there should be an age limit to ride in the 250 class? There definitely the point system needs to be better.
But this says age limit.
No, I don't think age is as important as attempts, finishes, or points. Because if, say, you get a late start,
John Dowd
in your career, John Dowd, he doesn't turn pro until he's 24 or something.
He got his
like
first factory ride with Yamaha when he was 29.
Yeah. So as far as an age limit goes for the 250, no, it needs to be, in my opinion, starts or finishes,
points, things.
Yeah. I almost think finishes, in my opinion.
Okay.
So moving on, second one.
Go for it.
Do you think Austin Forkner felt too comfortable, which led him to crash? I don't think it had anything to do about being comfortable. I think it has more along the lines of he needs to be restricted a little bit with himself, and knowing that each time he gets on the bike, he needs to remind himself to ride within his limits, and he doesn't have to be, 2 seconds faster. So I don't think it has anything to do with being comfortable. You want to be comfortable on the bike, and I don't think you can ever be too comfortable. I think it's more of a mental, a mental discipline that he needs to find.
Well, and that's a similar thing to most of James Stewart's career. And if you watch those videos that James is putting out, he always felt a lot of pressure, not to just win, but to be like way better than everybody else. And I think that you're riding in that zone where you're like, hey, I can't just be first in practice. I got to go out and demolish these guys. And that's tough to do without a lot of risk. And I thought that what happened this weekend was very similar to something that we would have seen from James Stewart.
Yeah. All right, second. This comes from our next one, I should say. This comes from @JamesBurris on Instagram. He reached out to us. Is there any rule that keeps a West Coast guy from running East 2 in the 250?
All right, so I went straight to the everybody can.
Read the rule book.
You can go to amasupercross.com. You can find the 2019 rule book. It's all right there. So item 5.2, 250 SX East-West Championship Guidelines. A, riders must designate the region in which they intend to participate prior to the first event of the season. B, once a rider has designated their region, they may not transfer to the opposite region in the 250 class unless the rider is injured at the first event that they are competing in and failed to start any part of the evening program. The request must be submitted in writing to the AMA, and the rider must remain in the new region for the rest of the season. Black and white.
Good one.
Well, it's actually red on here, but
well, I can see right here. Yeah, I'm gonna let you take this one.
Well, hold on. Hold on. We're gonna do the poll first, but I do want to cover the 250 point system. I was looking at it this morning again when I was thumbing through the rule book. I think that having Davalos win again at age 32, and actually he's not the oldest winner. John Dowd is the oldest 250 winner. Davalos has had 99 starts, and he won another main event. 99 in the 250 class. I think that that's something to be discussed. And we're going to do that here in a couple more shows. I'm ramping up some info on that. Ricky, I want to go to our poll, though.
Yeah, that's what I was doing right now.
So is this the final things? Is it done? Let me see.
I mean,
so right now, I asked the question on @Talk447 on Twitter. So with 3 races left, who's going to win the 450 Supercross title? I mean, pretty easy. Easiest to say that Webb with the 21-point lead is 68% think that he's going to win it. Right? He's got 21 points. But I really wanted to see if there was going to be any support for Newscan or Tomac. Newscan comes in at 7%, so that gives Tomac 25% of the people think Tomac can still pull this thing out with 3 races left to go.
Yeah, anything can happen.
That's it. That's your thoughts. That's your insight, your grand experience you bring to us, your real talk.
Well, I
anything
knew we were
can happen, bro.
I knew we were up against the clock, dude.
No.
I mean, hey, listen, people are going to give me shit about being on the web wagon, and the reason that all I said was in our first meeting, when we were at Anaheim on our pre-production meeting, I said, hey, this is a guy that I think could do well. And all I'd heard in the offseason how slow he was. He's off, and I'm like, man, that really sucks. But I know his potential, and he's been able to win championships. And I said, he could be a guy that could do well that no one is thinking of. Just watch him. He didn't start out. He did okay at Anaheim. He made more competitive passes than anyone. The Mutter sucked at Glendale, and so at that point I'd kind of forgotten about him. But then when he did well at the Triple Crown at Anaheim 2, I'm like, I could just see something in his riding that it clicked for him, and then that's where it took off. And it was almost like an inside thing that I had going with everyone else. I'm like, hey, this guy is going to be good. And everyone was kind of writing him off. And then he started doing exactly what I thought he was capable of. And anyhow.
Well, it's not over until the fat lady sings on this deal. And I can remember my only championship there was in Supercross was 1997. I was watching the race last week, and I was thinking to myself, you're watching Webb battle for that second. He ended up third, trying to hang on. People just don't understand how much mental pressure there is on him. And it's like, oh, why is he getting a third this week? He's already won 5 races, 6 races. How many has he won now? 6. So he's won. You never know when you look at the stat book from the research department. You never know.
Last week, one said 5 and one said 6.
I'm telling you, I think he's getting mentally tired.
Thanks, SXP. Are you tired, dude? Like, do you need to? Well, first of all, what happened to your proofreader? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah. But Webb, man, he's in a really gnarly spot the first time. Yeah. So remember, your first season that you won the championship was 2001. 2001. Did you coast into the finish line on that, or did you have to?
Yeah, well, I took the approach, and I had a pretty massive points lead, but I knew I could wrap it up with 2 races to go, and that's what I wanted to do. It ended in Dallas, Salt Lake, Vegas, so I had a big enough points lead that I didn't have to ride protective. It kind of went to the other side where I'm like, shit, man, if I win these many more races, I could wrap it up with 2 to go. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to like 03, 05, 06, that I wasn't in that position, and I had to start riding. I knew that I couldn't win that many races to wrap it up early, and so then I had to ride defensive, kind of what he's doing. But I wonder if this is going through his head. Like, dude, if he went out this weekend and won, he possibly and showed a good showing, dude, he could wrap it up in East Rutherford. Like, I want to know what he's thinking. Well, where's his mind at? Has he just surrendered and says, I'm going to ride this damn thing out to Vegas? Because it seems like that's the way it is, and he is under a tremendous amount of pressure. Everything that you've ever wanted to win since you were a little kid, Monster Energy Supercross series, is right in front of you.
Yeah, and so, yeah, if he needs another win. He needs another win really bad. If the whoop sections are jumpers or big ruts or something where he's not struggling, he'll be on it, dude. He'll be totally on it, because if he could go 3 points up on anyone, if Baggett or Wilson or somebody else, Roxon, decides to get in there, he could go to East Rutherford with 25, 26, 27 points, right? And then that's a massive game changer. But he has to keep focused, his eye on the ball. But I just can't put into words what it's like, right? I had a real nail biter right at the end. I hurt my leg, needed to gain some points back. But to me, in 97, when it rained at Texas Stadium in Dallas, and I was like, it rained, awesome. My attitude was right. I went there with the intentions of, I'm going to win this race, and I'm going to have a little points gap on Jeremy. Jeremy was talking to the AMA. He wanted the race to be postponed because he didn't want to ride a mutter. And that was all just attitude. I wanted to be there. He was like, hey, this isn't, we need to postpone this. And Webb, he's in that battle mode right now, and the pressure's just mounting. And he's withstood a lot of the assaults from everyone else, but it's not over. If he could win one more, that would push him over the top.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly. I love what you said about the assaults. The assaults aren't over from Newscan, from Tomac, from Ken, and other guys in the field. There's other guys that doesn't want him to win this championship either. So if he can, but you go back, he's doing what he's got to do, but he gets good starts. He puts himself in perfect position.
Yep. Hey, do you think Newscan or Tomac take a shot at him, given the opportunity?
Yeah. Got to. If he wins one more time, like you said, in these next 2 rounds, they won't, because they know it's pretty much over. But yeah, that's what I think.
All right. Well, the boys are going a mile high in Denver.
Hey,
should be interesting. I'm going to be at Faye Myers.
Man a shout out. You forgot You forgot one little guy.
Why don't you take that? Why don't you take that one? I'd rather you do that one.
You've been kicking my ass this whole episode 9, so we might as well go ahead and end it on this. Everyone, First of all, I want to thank, before Fro does the sign off, I want to thank you guys for listening. We're really having a great time doing this, and we hope you guys enjoy it. But this old guy right here, or whoever it is, sorry.
Yeah, it actually is an old dude, obviously.
Okay. It came from Twitter. It's at BDE622922224. Just straight up, Fro is the man, with man in capital letters. So not only did you beat me
head to head,
better, what was it? Let's see, where's
4 of 7.
4 of 7
plus the U.S. Open, so that's
plus the US 5
of 8. Not even close.
5 of 8.
Percentage-wise, it's not even close.
Yeah, so you know what? You win this one, my man. I'm proud of you.
Like 2 of those were inside the top 3.
Dude, and what's sad is like you got 16th one time, I got 19th.
Well, what were we? So in the series, I was 15th in the championship, and you were 16th. Boom! I got you there too.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, dude. Hey, the stats don't lie. Yeah.
Blame it on the bike.
Almost
dude.
Same. Well, hey, so thanks everybody for your questions. Special thanks to the Supercross Research Department and their team for everything that they do for us. If you're listening to this before Friday, I'm going to be at Faye Myers Power Sports in Denver for their open house on Friday night. We're going to do the special Dean Wilson Real Talk 447 live from the dealership, so check that out. Ricky, you're going to try to make it down later
That's right.
on.
Come join us. If you guys are in that area, come join us. Come check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm going to be giving shit to Fro. He's going to be giving shit to me, and we're going to have –
and we're both going to give it to Wilson.
I think we should make Dean Wilson wear what he wore for opening ceremonies. I think he should wear
last
that
week?
whole
he's
kit.
probably got something else. It is sort of a cowboy town in Denver, too, the Old West.
It's a Western. Yeah, Western.
Yeah, he'll be all over it.
For sure.
He'll probably show up in a parka, like a whole ski outfit or something. I don't know. But it's gonna be fun to have Dean Wilson on. So any parting words, or are you done?
Oh, I'm happy. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Check us out every single week on your favorite podcast sites.
Subscribe. And, make sure that you hit subscribe.
That's right. Hit subscribe and send in your questions, requests, who you want to hear from, and we'll do the best we can to get them on.
All right. So we are on Twitter. We're at Talk447, at Ricky Carmichael on every other social media platform, and at Emig47 as well. So everybody, it's been a fun show. Ricky, I had a good time. Thanks everybody for listening. Miguel's going to roll the Andrew McKeague band, This Old Lie.
Nice.
We are going living this old life. Thanks, everybody.